For the emperor's residence, which is nicknamed as the heaven, and for the ladies, for the empress, is called the earth. Earthly tranquility used to be the living quarter for the empress in the Ming Dynasty. But the last empress, who received the order from the emperor, asked her to commit suicide. She did it right in this palace, hung herself. It's committed suicide. And those
This is the last building.
The last building along the inner court, along the central axis. And so those Qing emperors consider this place as an ominous palace. They did not live in this palace anymore, which is converted into two places. So the west chamber over here, which used as a religious chamber, and the east chamber over here used as a wedding chamber. The emperor and the empress would spend 3 nights in that chamber when they get married. First 3 nights. Yes. Only the empress had the honor, had the privilege to sleep over with the emperor over a whole night. Other ladies, they can only sleep with the emperor for 2 hours. Hey gentlemen, this small building here were used as the living quarter, living residence for those poor eunuchs.
The eunuchs.
For the eunuchs live here. Then most eunuchs, they work in the Forbidden City but live in the imperial city, outside of the Forbidden City. But when they were on duty, they will be sleeping in those small, low buildings. Most of them had a very miserable life. And this, the eunuch system was abolished in 1911. And the garden, this was the only place for those poor ladies to entertain themselves in the past, because they do not allow to step out of the Forbidden City without the permission from the emperor.
These ladies, how did they come here? Families gave their daughters here, or how did they come here? How did they end up here?
I will show you the place where they select beauties. I'll tell you that story later. Okay. So this is a garden, and this tree has a history around for 200 years. Their branches entwined together just like a couple. So it's called a couple tree. We call them a Taihu rock. They were actually formed by those limestones, and through time, a long time erosion at the bottom of the lake, and they were extracted from the bottom of the Tai Lake from southern China. And they are famous for the diverse shapes and the beautiful postures. They are famous for those features like wrinkles and thinness, openings, and transparency. The 4 major features of those rocks. Wrinkles means those crisscrossed textures for many wrinkles, make it very pretty. Openings, if you pour the water from one hole, it could come out from another openings. Thinness is very, very slender and elegant in shape, and as well as the transparency. If you look at the rock from a different angle, you can actually see through the stone. So they are the symbols of longevity, and also add more natural and beautiful and artistic ambience for the emperor and emperor's garden or the courtyard. Look, this is a beautiful building in the imperial garden. Or the lodge of the building of cultivated nature. Very beautiful and quiet place. This was used as a living quarter, a living building for the emperor's English teacher in 1919. Reginald Johnston, take a look at this gentleman. Reginald Johnston, who served as the emperor's English teacher from 1919 to 1924. He was a very famous scholar and had a profound and about the Chinese literature, and who is a very...
He was not a Chinese man.
Not Chinese man, who is a Scottish.
But he spoke Chinese, I guess.
Yes, who lived here for 30 years and very knowledgeable Chinese culture, and both Chinese and international culture, who brought a lot of impact, positive impact to this boy emperor. He was at the age of 45, and the emperor was at the age of only 14, who helped the emperor open up his eyes for a huge world.
He was the emperor's left arm.
Yeah,
Emperors, almost like a father, maybe.
Like the father, and who under his influence, the emperor started to wear the glasses, and installed the first telephone in the Forbidden City, and cut out his queue. The queue, that's a part of those Manchurian people, and who Under his influence, he cut his queue and read the bicycle in the Forbidden City, and who nearly escaped the Forbidden City to study abroad. But finally, at the last moment, he stopped by his father, by the emperor's father at the end. If he successfully made a trip out of China, that would be a totally different story. Yeah, and he went back to England and worked as a Chinese professor at the University of London.
What year was that?
In 1930. He went back to London to work as a Chinese professor at the University of London.
And at that time, his student was dead, right? He died 19...
No, the student who left, who is under the control of those Japanese army.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he died in 1967.
67,
He's a student,
yeah.
And he wrote a very famous memoir, a book titled "The Twilight in the Forbidden City." Because he walked through many twilights together with the emperor in the Forbidden City, as well as the twilight of the Forbidden City used being the living residence of the last emperor.
So he lived in this house?
He lived in this house for a couple of years.
Married or?
He is single as well. He's a single. And when the emperor got married in 1922, he rewarded with the first rank headwear or hat, like the first rank, the highest ranking of the officials. So he was over the moon. He was super excited. Even he went back to England, and whenever there was a Chinese holiday, he would dress like the Chinese official and entertain his families and friends. And he died in 1938 at the age of 63. Died alone, who never married.